Medical officer Isabella Santos reviewed the genetic report for the third time, hoping the data would somehow change. Didn't. Young Kes, 7-year-old Zarketh cub, had progressive neural degeneration, his hunting reflexes deteriorating at 3% per month. In a species where survival meant lightning-fast predatory responses, this was a death sentence. Literally. Zarketh law was absolute. Genetic weakness diluted the species. Defective cubs were euthanized within 30 days of diagnosis. It was called the mercy kill. Quick, painless, honorable. Isabella found Kes in the medical bay's observation room, practicing strike drills with heartbreaking determination. His movements were slower than other cubs, his coordination slightly off. He knew what the diagnosis meant. Kes, Isabella said softly. Can we talk? The cub's obsidian eyes met hers. Zarketh didn't cry, but his scales had faded to the gray of acceptance. You will tell this one when the mercy comes. What if it doesn't have to? His claws flexed involuntarily, a tic caused by his degrading neural pathways. There is no treatment. The weakness will spread. This one will become useless to the pack. Not useless. Different. Isabella pulled up her tablet. Kes, can I show you something? She displayed images of Earth, humans in wheelchairs, prosthetic limbs, cochlear implants, exoskeletons. My species is weak. We're born weaker than almost every predator on our world. We lack claws, speed, natural armor, venom. By Zarketh standards, every human should have been culled before civilization began. Kes tilted his head, confused. Yet you travel the stars. You sit on the Coalition Council. How? We didn't eliminate weakness. We built around it. She zoomed in on a human rock climber wearing a powered leg brace. This woman was born unable to walk. Instead of accepting that as a dead end, we created technology to compensate. Now she climbs mountains that even healthy humans can't. Artificial enhancement is not natural. Neither is medicine, or tools, or ships that cross space. Isabella leaned forward. Kes, what if I told you I could build something that compensates for your neural degeneration? Something that wouldn't cure you, but would make you functional. Maybe even superior, despite your condition. The cub's scales flickered between gray and something that might have been hope. The Zarketh would never allow. They would if you proved it worked. If you demonstrated that enhanced capability despite weakness is better than average capability without it. This one does not understand. Isabella smiled. Give me 3 weeks. Let me show you what human weakness looks like when we refuse to accept it. The neural interface was delicate work. Isabella couldn't fix Kes's degrading pathways, but she could route around them. The harness connected directly to his spine, reading his intent and enhancing his physical responses. When his brain fired a command to strike, the system would compensate for neural lag, correcting timing and coordination. It wasn't a cure. It was an accommodation, a way to be functional despite permanent disability. Kes wore the prototype for the first time on day 12. The harness was light, form-fitted to his adolescent frame, its processors barely visible beneath his fur. How does it feel? Isabella asked. Strange. This one feels faster than this one is. Try the drill sequence. Kes moved through the basic strikes. The harness anticipated each motion, smoothing out the jerks and delays his condition caused. His movements weren't just corrected, they were optimized. The system analyzed each strike and adjusted for maximum efficiency. This one is striking correctly, Kes whispered, staring at his claws. Better than correctly. The harness doesn't just compensate, it enhances. You're processing combat information faster because the system handles the physical coordination, freeing your brain for tactical thinking. Over the next week, Isabella refined the interface. She added predictive algorithms that learned Kes's fighting style, haptic feedback that warned of incoming attacks before his degraded reflexes could register them, and strength augmentation that compensated for his weakening muscle control. Kes trained harder than Isabella had ever seen a cub train. Not to overcome his weakness, but to maximize his enhanced capability. He learned to trust the system, to work with it rather than fight it. On day 28, 2 days before the scheduled mercy kill, Kess requested a combat trial before the Pack Council. Pack leader Vexwrath presided, his battle-scarred hide radiating disapproval. The human preserves defective genetics. This violates natural order. This one requests trial by combat, Kess said formally, to demonstrate capability. You face mandatory termination in 48 hours. What purpose does this serve? This one wishes to prove that weakness, when properly supported, can become strength. Vexwrath's laugh was harsh. Very well. You will face 3 combat drones calibrated for healthy adolescent Zarketh. When you fail, the mercy will proceed as scheduled. The combat arena filled with Pack members, most expecting to witness a cub's final humiliation before death. Isabella stood in the observation deck, heart hammering. She'd done everything she could. Now it was up to Kess. The first drone attacked. Kess's degraded reflexes should have left him vulnerable. But the harness predicted the strike pattern based on drone positioning. Haptic feedback warned him a half-second early. His counterstrike, guided by enhanced coordination, hit with precision no unassisted cub could achieve. The drone staggered. Kess pressed his advantage. The second and third drones engaged simultaneously, a tactic meant to overwhelm. Without the harness, Kess would have been destroyed instantly. With it, he processed both threats simultaneously. The system handled physical responses while his conscious mind developed strategy. He didn't just defend. He adapted. The harness learned his opponent's patterns faster than they could adjust, feeding him predictive data. Kess fought like he could see the future, each movement a counter to attacks that hadn't happened yet. Within 4 minutes, all 3 drones were disabled. Kess stood in the center of the arena, breathing hard but victorious. The harness had worked perfectly. The pack sat in stunned silence. Vexwrath descended to the arena floor, his massive form radiating confusion. Explain this, human. Isabella activated her comm. Kess has progressive neural degeneration. Without intervention, he'd be completely non-functional within months. I didn't cure him. I gave him tools to function despite his disability. The harness compensates for his weaknesses and provides enhanced capabilities his biology alone could never achieve. You gave defective genetics artificial strength. This is not natural selection. Neither is any technology. Natural selection says humans should have been eaten by saber-toothed tigers. Instead, we invented spears. We didn't get stronger, we got smarter about being weak. Isabella stepped forward. Kess will never be normal, but with proper support, he can be extraordinary. He cannot hunt without this harness. Correct. Just like I can't see without corrective lenses. Just like humans can't breathe in space without life support. Just like your people can't cross between stars without ships. She met Vexwrath's gaze. We all use technology to overcome biological limitations. I just took it one step further. Vexwrath circled Kess slowly, examining the harness. You performed above standard parameters. Not despite your weakness, but because the accommodation enhanced capability beyond baseline. Yes, pack leader. This undermines 300 generations of genetic selection protocols. Kess's scales showed steady resolve. This one submits that protocols which waste potential serve the pack poorly. This one was scheduled for termination. Now this one can serve. The pack gains a warrior it would have lost. Vexwrath was quiet for a long time. Then he turned to the assembled pack. The human makes a tactical argument. We cull weakness to preserve strength. But what if weakness, properly supported, produces superior outcomes to average strength alone? An elder, Cressmora, spoke from the council seats. This sets dangerous precedent. We would preserve all defective genetics, weakening future generations. Or, Isabella interjected, you preserve intelligence and capability regardless of physical form. Kess's mind is brilliant. His tactical thinking is exceptional. Under your current system, you'd destroy that intelligence because his body doesn't meet standards. That's not strength, that's waste. She pulled up comparative data. Human military forces include soldiers with prosthetics, enhanced vision, augmented strength. We don't see these as weaknesses, we see them as force multipliers. A soldier with a powered exoskeleton can lift what 5 unaugmented soldiers can't. That's not cheating. That's strategic advantage. Vexratha's claws extended and retracted slowly. You suggest we preserve weakness and enhance it technologically. I suggest you preserve potential and support it appropriately. Not every problem needs a biological solution. The pack leader looked at Kes. Really looked at him. Your neural degeneration will progress. Yes, pack leader. You will require increasingly sophisticated support. Yes, pack leader. You will never be fully independent from technology. No, pack leader. But this one will serve the pack. This one will hunt, fight, and defend. This one will do what healthy cubs cannot, because this one has what they lack, human innovation supporting Zarketh spirit. Vexrath made a sound Isabella had never heard from a Zarketh. Something almost like laughter. The human teaches us a lesson we should have learned millennia ago. Adaptation is not just biological. It is technological, strategic, philosophical. He raised his voice to address the pack. Kes will not receive mercy kill. Instead, he becomes our first accommodated warrior. Dr. Santos will train others in her methods. We will no longer eliminate cubs with correctable limitations. We will enhance them. The pack erupted in debate, some approving, others protesting. But Vexratha's word was final. 3 months later, Isabella ran an entire division dedicated to adaptive technology. 5 cubs previously scheduled for termination now wore customized support systems. One with degenerative vision had infrared and motion sensors. Another with impaired hearing had a combat analysis suite that processed battlefield data directly to neural interface. They weren't just functional. They were exceptional. Kes visited Isabella's lab regularly, now training younger cubs in how to work with their accommodations. Dr. Santos, he said one evening, this one has a question. Ask. Why do humans work so hard to preserve weakness? Would it not be easier to simply eliminate the imperfect? Isabella smiled sadly. Because humans learned something important. Today's weakness might be tomorrow's adaptation site. The genes that make someone vulnerable to one condition might make them resistant to another. Diversity, including disability, is evolutionary insurance. We preserve it because we don't know which weakness might save us someday. She looked at the cubs training with their enhancement systems. But more than that, we preserve it because everyone deserves a chance to discover what they can become. Your weakness forced innovation. Without it, this technology wouldn't exist. Now every warrior in your pack benefits from research driven by accommodation. Kes's scales showed the deep blue of profound respect. Humans are apex predators not through strength, but through refusal to accept limitation. We're apex predators because we're the only species stubborn enough to look at weakness and say, how do we build around this? Instead of, how do we eliminate this? And as Isabella watched Kes return to training, moving with grace his biology had never intended, she understood humanity's truest strength. They didn't survive by being the fittest. They survived by redefining what fitness meant, building around every limitation until weakness itself became the foundation for unprecedented capability.